Hey guys, what is up? It is Bibzuda7 here again, and welcome to another RuneScape 3 vlog here today. In this video, I'm going to be going over pretty much all of the updates and news that has happened since my last video. Now, it has been almost 2 months since my last video at this point. Been quite a long time, and I don't know, it was kind of weird. I just didn't really feel like making videos. I was playing a bit earlier on in this break, but I haven't been playing too much recently, but I've kind of been wanting to get back into it, especially because of one of the recent updates. Well, more so patches, but I have been wanting to get back into playing, and figured making this video would be a good way to get started with that. Just get back into the swing of making the videos weekly and stuff like that. My last video was the Fresh Start Worlds rant video, which they did make some changes after that video, and of course the Fresh Start Worlds BS has begun, but they basically didn't change anything, honestly. Like, they didn't change enough to make it anywhere near what people actually would have wanted from a limited time mode like this, and it's still just a complete cash grab and just a pathetic attempt at making a limited time event that anybody would actually want to play. I don't know if it was a success or not, if they're considering it a success. I don't really care that much. I didn't look at it at all, didn't consider even potentially playing it. Just a terrible, awful event. You can watch my video on that if you want to hear my full thoughts. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get into it. First thing, and this probably contributed a bit to the not uploading for a while, because this kind of broke my flow a little bit. The first update after the video I made was this, they call it summer break. And I mean, I have no problem with them just taking a week off or whatever in the summer for people to do vacation or whatever. I just, the one thing I just found kind of funny was that they called it their usual summer break. And I mean, I just, I don't remember this ever being a thing in the past. Maybe I'm forgetting, but I just found that kind of funny that they acted like it was something that happens at this time every year, and I just don't recall that. But yeah, basically nothing happened because of that. No patches or anything like that on that week. Then they released the stupid FAQ and the changes and the release date pushback of the Fresh Start Worlds. Again, like they really didn't change enough, even close to enough for me to care or want to play it or think it would be worth playing. Let me see I don't even remember exactly what they changed in here. They rebalanced the multiplier, removed some of the stupid bonuses that were super OP. But yeah, again, each account can only buy or sell a maximum of 1 bond per weekly reset in the competitive period. So stupid. Absolutely just so stupid. That you can even buy bonds at all. Just honestly a ridiculous and horrible event. Just don't even really want to talk about it that much. But yeah, moving on now. The next week was the release of the Yak track, which did come with a pretty cool new cosmetic ability override. It's Lava Tsunami, if you haven't seen it. In my animations, here we go. Lava. I don't have it on this account, but I did get it on some of my other accounts. Looks pretty cool. I really like that they're doing these ability overrides. And I hope they just don't put any more of them on Treasure Hunter. That was really annoying and stupid. And I hope at some point there's ways to get these again later if you missed them on the Yak track, because, they're super cool and I like them a lot. The Iron Sunshine is probably the worst one, but it was the first one. This one is a pretty sweet change. I like that. So yeah, I think that's still going on for like another 2 weeks, week or two. Yeah, about 2 weeks left on it. You have to get like 48 for the Lava Tsunami, I think. So that's it's kind of tough, but they actually decided with this Yak track to include an even more BS, more BS additional fear of missing out garbage on top of the Fresh Start Worlds, which everyone already hated. They have added these new, you can see them here, these Wilderness Shoulder Capes, which I like the cape design, but I don't like the idea of the shoulder cape. I think the whole shoulder, just it being on one shoulder, looks ugly. I don't really like it. The capes themselves have cool looking colors and designs, but yeah, I'm really not a fan of the actual, idea of the shoulder cape. But basically, when you get to the end of the yak track here, you have this infinitely repeatable task, which is, you can just continue completing it, and importantly, continue using autocomplete tokens to complete it. So people can just waste their money and try and, get these capes and I say try because it is a random drop. You get this yak sack, and that has an extremely small chance of giving you one of the capes. I've opened quite a few of these on one of my other accounts just from, doing the track itself, because you get some of these during the track at random points. You get one and you can open it. And I haven't gotten any capes. All I've gotten is like a couple oddments. And yeah, I mean, it's so stupid. They've all, I mean, Yak Track is already kind of annoying because of how long of a grind it is if you want to get all the rewards without spending skip tokens. And now the fact that they've added additional BS, cosmetic stuff that is super high RNG, like all of the recent ones from, the balloon fragment events and all that stupid crap. I really don't like that at all. And so not happy to see this change to the Yak Track. So I mean, I don't know. What more can you say? It's so stupid. And that was pretty much it, I think, from that week, or I guess the couple small patch notes. Not really important. I don't think there were anything in there, but man, they really, I don't know. They need to stop with this garbage. But I mean, at this point, it's people are just used to it, and they're just going to keep doing it. But I mean, all you can do as a player individually is not buy the stuff and voice your opinion as that you're not a fan of it. But I mean, is anybody really going to quit over them adding these capes to Yak Track? I find that hard to believe. So I don't know. Anyway, moving on now to something more interesting. The Xamarack drop rates were revealed at the beginning of September, which is pretty cool. These have changed slightly, I believe, since this post. So I'll have to go over to those changes and, review them after looking at these. But the big thing that came out with this, I would say, is the fact that 50 Enrage and 99 Enrage are the same in terms of loot. So people, prior to this post, pretty much everybody who was really grinding the boss and not pushing Enrage was just camping 99%, because obviously that's the highest Enrage you can get before activating Phase 7. And turns out they could have all just been doing 50% Enrage, which is at least a little bit easier, not a huge difference, but still kind of just funny to see that. And the thing I really don't understand with this whole loot system is that the loot stops scaling at 2000% Enrage, which is even lower than where Telos's loot stops scaling, which just doesn't really make much sense to me, because this boss scales all the way up to 60,000 Enrage and beyond if they want to increase the cap. So why it ever would stop at such a low Enrage of 2,000 in terms of scaling doesn't make much sense to me at all. Maybe they could stop the unique item drop rate increasing, but I don't see why they couldn't at least add a couple more tiers of common loot increases, even if they were huge bands of like 5,000 Enrage each. You just think it would make at least a little bit of sense to somewhat incentivize people to push higher. I mean, I don't know. That just seems really strange to me that 2,000 is the max. Also, I don't know why it says 2,000 to 2,999, because, I mean, unless there's additional tiers above that, which they don't list for some reason, which wouldn't make sense for a drop rate reveal document. This should just be 2,000 plus, because that's all it is. But basically, those are the loot tiers. There's 15 of them. And then based on your loot tier, you get a certain number of loot points. And the loot points go through the common loot table and give you drops. And each drop you get takes away some loot points, and you get more drops until you have 0 remaining. Pretty simple system and well explained, so I appreciate that. Alkables and Onyx Bolt Tips will take away the most loot points, while Stone Spirits and Seeds will take away the least. So yeah. And now on to what everyone really cares about. It's the rare item chances. And basically, it's just a base of 1 in 100 chance to get the rare drop table. Tier 4 luck will bring this down to 1 in 99 as usual. And then the main thing that they are, describing here is the difference to get each item. And obviously, the bow piece is technically the lowest rate, although a single piece of the vestment set is technically a lower chance, but getting any piece of the vestment set is obviously quite high chance compared to the other items. It's a 12.5% chance at a base for the bow piece, and this will shift alongside the Codex of Lost Knowledge so that the bow piece will become more common whilst the Codex will become less common. But it's really not that big of a difference, as you'll see here as I scroll down. Also, of course, the drop chance itself will get better with Enrage, maxing out at, without any bad luck mitigation, at 1 in 28 above 2000% Enrage. But and then of course the bow chance will just slowly creep up. It maxed out at 22.5% versus a 25% for the Codex at 2000% plus. So yeah, I mean, it's only a 10%. I mean, 10% is pretty big, 10 percentage point change between 0 and 2000%. But I mean, you know, it's a big percentage point change, but that Enrage difference is absolutely massive. I don't know. I think it would have maybe been better if I honestly, I don't know how they would have changed this too much. I guess they don't want the bow to be super common, but I really still I've said this several times. I just don't understand why it's dropped below 100% Enrage. That doesn't make sense to me from their boss design philosophies in the past or anything. So yeah, that's that. But there's probably some sweet spot, I'm sure, where it's best to kill the boss in terms of the boss, you know, being easy enough to kill and also faster compared to the percentage chance of getting the bow and all that. I'll leave that up to the math crazy people to figure that out. They also say that, and something I forgot to mention, but this counts as well. Completing the elite dungeon prior to killing the boss, you'll get 75% increased loot points, and the denominator of your drop, your rare drop table will be multiplied by 0.75. So basically, it's never, ever, ever worth it to run the elite dungeon for better drops. That's just not going to be worth it at all. And then really interesting to hear explained was the bad luck mitigation system. And this is something that's had a pretty significant change to it since this post itself. Basically, bad luck mitigation will apply after 10 kills without a rare drop, which is pretty quick to start applying it. And then basically after that, every kill you do will decrease the denominator of your rare drop chance by 1. And it's very interesting how this all plays together, because you can do a lower Enrage and get your bad luck mitigation up, and then go up to a higher Enrage to get the better bow chance with high bad luck mitigation. And it's important to note, obviously, at these lower Enrages, you do have a lower chance to get the drop as it is. So if you do, say, 100% Enrage and you do 40 kills, that means your drop at 100% Enrage will be a 1 in 50 drop chance. But if you then decide to go up to 900% with that same 40 kill bad luck mitigation, your drop rate would go down to 1 in 10. Despite that not actually being possible based on this post, it caps at 1 in 20, I believe. Right here. But still, you can do lower Enrage to build up bad luck mitigation and go to higher Enrage to make that mitigation more useful by making the drop rate quite a bit lower and also giving you a better chance at a bow piece. So yeah, it is. And also it's something that kind of plays into killing it with a group. Like if you have a really, really dry streak going and you are, killing it with someone or killing it with a small group, you can just like sneak off and go do a solo hour and get your drop to use up your bad luck mitigation to, if you want to be greedy or whatever. So, I mean, that's probably people won't really do that, but it's just an interesting dynamic that this sort of system brings into it, because it's not split between group and solo kills. It's just you as the player. So that's that. I'm going to talk about that more later, because there was a pretty significant change to it, which I think makes the system quite a bit better overall. But yeah, they also say pet chance 1 in 500 in group or 1 in 300 solo with threshold of 100. So yeah, that is the Xamarack drop rates. Again, I mean, it's not honestly too bad. A 1 in 100 at the lowest levels is pretty decent, honestly, in terms of a drop rate, because it's quite an easy boss, in my opinion, at below 100% Enrage compared to, something like, it's comparable, I guess you would say, to Telos below 100% compared to Telos above 100% in a similar way. Like Telos above 100%, well, I guess it's not as much more difficult as Xamarack is compared to its sub 100 levels, but still, it's, definitely a lot easier to do below 100. So yeah, those are Xami drop rates. Then we had the free-to-play graphical updates, which, they did quite a few smaller touch-ups to a bunch of areas. This place where I am at the Falador Garden was just done the other day, or I guess earlier this week, because of this week's update, which I'll get to. But they put a lot of these rocks, like this specific types of rocks. They put these quite a few places, especially around water, as you can see right here in this picture of Lumbridge. That's the main difference that you can really even see in this picture comparison. I mean, the lighting is definitely different. They said they updated skyboxes and stuff, so that's clearly different. But the main thing in these two screenshots is those rocks added to the riverside there. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad they're continuing to update the game and make things look better. They've actually been recently doing Karamja for the recent Game Jam, which I've seen some pictures about on Twitter, which look pretty good. Looking forward to that. That's probably the least recently graphically updated area by far. So glad to see they're tackling that. And, eventually everything will look fairly consistent and you won't have jarring, ridiculous looking old school RuneScape style things right next to brand new graphically updated things. This one I kind of didn't like, but that's probably just my nostalgia talking, and that's the changes to Varrock here. I mean, this just doesn't look like Varrock Square anymore to me, because I don't even know what this weird tiling of small stones was before, but that is Varrock Square. That is what it looks like. And now it's like regular cobblestone with some grass leaking through. I mean, this is not my Varrock, I'll tell you that much. But I mean, clearly, like, objectively, it looks good. I just don't, I'm not a fan of the drastic change to the whole aesthetic of the city, because it really does make a big difference. It's a lot darker, the ground, than it was before. I don't know. It's interesting. I'd like to hear other people's thoughts on that. They fixed the special Slayer task for Mandareth finally during this week, which people were upset about for a while. Was there anything else? Probably not. There weren't really a lot of patch notes going on in these several weeks that I was gone. But yeah, then the next following week they did the first retro override drop of the D skim. I don't know. I don't really see why people are so interested in these retro overrides, or I mean, I'm not sure if people even are, but I'm personally not a big fan. I mean, I don't think that. I mean, sure, there's some nostalgia, but if I really wanted that, I'd just go play old school. I don't really want to have a ugly D-skim overriding any of my weapons nowadays. But that's just my opinion. Maybe other people are interested in it. But yeah, pretty long list of patch notes. But again, I read through these recently. Don't think there was anything that important to list. Unfortunately, they are, of course, not very well sectioned, being just a general, full bulk section. But yeah, again, a pretty slow week there. Then they did another stupid post about Fresh Start Worlds. Who knows? I think this was just another advertisement of all the garbage that it's about. So yeah, who cares? Not me. And then they gave us a new update on their current plans, which was cool to see. This is like the latest roadmap. Of course, we've had the Xamarack boss and, the quest related to that. We've had the Wilderness Reborn and the Daughter of Chaos quest come out. The next thing, I guess, that's coming out maybe this month in October, I guess, did they say? October, yeah, that's coming, is going to be the Wilderness Flash events. And the word flash kind of gets me a little bit apprehensive there. Reminds me of demon flash mobs, perhaps. Hopefully it's nothing like that and is actually good content and perhaps fun. We'll have to see. Looking forward to covering that whenever it does come out. Then we have a Zamarackian Civil War mini quest series, I guess, coming out in November or something, in Daughter of Chaos finale quest. I don't know if these are actually, these here are for this year or what. It's a little bit unclear because the things that are in the timeline at the top are not in the in development section at the bottom. So it's a little bit confusing for me. Maybe they talked about it in a stream or something, but just looking at this picture, it's not 100% clear. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Mini Quest series have been a bit hit or miss in the past couple years, so we'll have to see how this one goes. And then, of course, probably finale quest for Dot of Chaos will be cool. The quest itself was good, pretty decent. So yeah. The big kind of reveal for this, I guess, was that there's apparently a brand new skill coming next year, which was surprising to hear for me at least. I thought that Invention had come out so long before Archaeology, and let me double check the release date. Invention came out in January of 2016, so that's about 4 years prior to the release of Archaeology. And I guess, next year will technically be 3 years. So maybe if say it comes out like in a year from now, in October of 2023 as a guess, then that's 3.5 years since Archaeology. So it makes some sense that there would be a new skill at that time. It just feels like it hasn't been that long. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I have a hard time seeing how they're going to be able to top Archaeology, because that was just such an amazing skill release. Probably some of the most fun I've had in the game in such a long time was covering all the content, solving those mysteries. It's such a good skill. Absolutely amazingly done, that one. So I'm curious to see what they end up doing with this one. People are speculating on what it's going to be, of course. People saying like astrology. There's always the sailing meme. I highly doubt it's going to be sailing, but I have no idea. I was pretty surprised to hear that is happening next year. So definitely interesting to see what they're doing, and I'm looking forward to getting more details. I'll be covering videos on that whenever details do come out. So that was probably the biggest thing from this. Also important to note, the death cost update has been pushed back to next year, and that is, of course, including the max cash limit removal on the Grand Exchange, and of course your money pouch as well. Really looking forward to that update. I guess they had to push it back to get it exactly right, which, I mean, fair enough, but looking forward to that coming out. This year they have new Master Max capes, which actually was the update this week, so I'll cover that later. Apparently there's going to be a new skilling location. Who knows where that is or what that means? Nobody knows. More retro overrides, whatever. More ninja strikes, which everyone always loves, of course. And then the new Jagex launcher, I guess, is going to be fully releasing this year. I find that hard to believe, but I've never used it personally. I know it's, I guess, available in beta right now or something, but haven't used it myself. Maybe I will if it actually is good when it comes out. I don't know. But then for 2023, there's going to be a new storyline starting up, I guess. The death cost update, as I said, a new training method, pretty much just as ambiguous and uninformative as new skilling location. So that's that. New quests, of course. And then, as I said, the new skill. So yeah. And of course, they have the asterisk plan is subject to change. It does not include all planned content and events. Of course, got to have that little subtext there to, as a cop out for if you have to change anything. But yeah, I mean, looks pretty cool. I'm looking forward to hearing more about the new skill, as I said, and nice to see that they did give us an updated roadmap after the one that they released originally in the summer. So hope they continue on a path like that. Now we have a pretty big patch right here, and this is the one I was talking about for why I want to play on my Iron Man again, potentially. And they call it a MiniStrike, and it is definitely not mini in terms of the impact. So the big headliner, at least for me and for most people, I would think, is that Iron Men can now boss with main accounts. And I was honestly shocked when I opened up the patch notes and read this. People have been kind of asking for this for quite a while, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone from Jagex talk or post or say anything about it, and suddenly it's just available here. You can now boss with main accounts as an Iron Man. Of course, you are going to have to use loot share at a boss like Virago, but at something, where you get your own drop like Solock, and honestly, most modern bosses, you do get your own drop. I think it's just as normal. You can just PVM with them. Of course, if you're an Iron Man, you want to make sure that that's clear to whoever you're going with, that you're not going to be, splitting the drop with them unless you want to use your main account to pay them off however much, but still, I was so happy to see this because I have, several friends that only have main accounts, and I've mainly been playing on my Iron Man accounts for quite a while now. And it'll be super nice to be able to PVM with them on my Iron Man accounts and having more people. Like, I know a lot of people who are against this from Iron Man perspective are saying that the Iron Man community was big enough as it is and doesn't need additional people. I mean, that just seems kind of short-sighted and selfish. Some people don't have the connections or whatever in the Iron Man community to get easy teams, and they might have friends who have main accounts that would happily go PVMing with them, and this just now makes that easy and available. So I mean, I am all for this. I was super excited to read about it. And obviously the main concern when it comes to something like this, I would say for most people, is leeching. But at this point in the Iron Man game, like lifespan or whatever you want to call it, leeching is hardly going to be increased by Iron Man accounts being able to PVM with main accounts. There's already tons of completely maxed out Iron Man accounts which are easily able to provide leeching and there's leeching services available for Iron Man, for hardcores, for whatever you want, and this isn't really going to make any impact on that. I totally understand why this wouldn't have been a good thing to have right from the start of the game mode, because of course then you could have PVM'd with your, all the new Iron Man accounts being made would have just leached off their mains and gotten, boosted up really quickly. But at this point, that's less of an issue between Iron Man and main accounts. Sure, you could still say leeching is an issue, but this isn't going to contribute to it or, change it in any way, as it already exists because of the fact that there's high-level Iron Man since it's been out for so long. So, yeah, I really see no downside to this, and I'm really looking forward to getting back on my main hardcore and taking advantage of this restriction removal to get into the higher levels of PVM and continue getting towards my goals on that account. The only downside here is that now you don't have a free instance available as an Iron Man. You can't just create an instance with no changes to the spawn speed and get it for free. So no more free next instances, which is sad, but definitely worth the trade-off there, I would say, for the ability to PVM with main accounts. So very huge. And again, can't stress enough, I am super excited to take advantage. Now, not only that, but Solock Solo Scaling was also released that week, which is pretty sweet. Ramen did get this all set up a while back, and I thought it was just going to be in testing or QA hell and never come out, as things tend to do at Jagex, but this one did come out, so pretty cool. I haven't given it a try yet. I may do so in the near future just to see what it's like. Apparently, it's actually not that hard, but still, of course, we have huge power creep since I last did Solock, even as a duo. So I'm sure it's a lot different now. But again, looking forward to giving it a shot. Most things are 2/3 the health of a duo, not half. So it is harder than duo probably, but still, it's. I was really happy to see that. I think it's good, at least personally, that things scale down to solo for the most part. Like when they removed the Virago, they made it so Virago will turn around if you are in a solo encounter. Like, I think that's good. Like, I don't think there should ever be a restriction on a boss that prevents you from soloing just as a mechanic of the boss. I don't think that's a good design approach, like with Virago or how Calfight King used to be before you could, like cheese it with Bladed Dive or however it really works. I just don't think it's that good to have it be, you cannot solo this because of this one mechanic that makes it impossible. It should be like, you can't solo this because it's too hard. But if you were really, really good enough, maybe you could do it. I think that makes more sense to me. But yeah, pretty cool. Solock is now soloable. Very, very nice. Definitely looking forward to giving that a try. And then they also changed the Xamarack Bad Luck Mitigation, as I mentioned in the drop rate discussion there. The modifier now only builds up if you are doing 100% in rage kills or higher, which is interesting. So now you can't like farm below 100%, get a high bad luck modifier, and then just do some high in rage kills to get the bow pieces or take advantage of that modifier with a higher drop rate for the bow piece. And I guess that makes some sense, but this honestly makes it even more strange to me that they didn't make the bow piece only drop at 100% if they're willing to do something like this. However, also based on how high your enrage is above 100%, you will get more bad luck mitigation increases per kill. So if you're from 100 to 499, you'll get 1 denominator decrease per kill. 500% plus is 2. 1,000% plus is 4, and 2,000% plus is 8, which is huge. So basically what you're always going to want to do is do your first 10 kills at 100% probably, and then, go from there however you want to do it. Like if you can do 2,000% enrage kills consistently, that would probably be worth doing, because 8 drop rate mitigation increase every kill is pretty huge. And of course, the base drop rate at those enrages is much higher as well. And there's this additional bullet point here where it is capped at 1 in 20, or it was capped at 1 in 20 before. But now if you're above 1,000%, it caps at 1 in 10, and 2,000% caps at 1 in 5. So pretty huge changes to the bad luck mitigation system. And I think they are very good, because previously, if you were just able to absolutely camp like 0% enrage and build up a massive bad luck modifier, and then go do higher enrage for like 2 or 3 kills to get a very likely drop, and that drop being higher chance of being a bow, I don't think that was very good. What's going on here? A little bit of glow on the ground for no reason. Very strange, very suspicious. Okay, moving on. Overall, I think good changes to the system. And makes the boss slightly better. But again, I still find it quite strange that it stops scaling at 2,000% enrage. Very, very strange stuff there for me. But they've also added bronze boss titles. So now whenever you get 1,000% enrage, you'll get a bronze version of any of the titles. So I guess that means I probably have the bronze warden title. Yep, as you can see, there's now the base version at 500. Bronze at 1,000, silver at 2,000, gold at 4,000 for all of the enraged bosses, Telos, Archglacior, and Xamarack. So pretty cool. People have wanted a 1,000% enraged title for a while. A lot of people suggested that they just move the base title to that level, which I think is a bit harsh, especially for like Xamarack. So it makes sense that they have added these additional ones. I think it's pretty good. And it will continue with any future enraged bosses. So yeah, it makes sense. The Dagonoth King pets were finally updated to be the newer models, which people have been, I think that was like talked about probably like 5 years ago or something, and now that's finally out. So kind of crazy how long that took. But yeah, pretty big patch week right there. Very, very cool to see Iron Man now able to PVM with main accounts. Let me know your thoughts about that. But if you're an Iron Man, I think it is a fantastic, fantastic change. But yeah, now we can move on. More Fresh Start World BS. Who cares? They launched on the 26th of September. Were there any actual patch notes this week? Wow, not even a header for this patch notes section. I remember reading through these. I don't think there was really anything worth mentioning. But yeah, that is that. And finally, we come to they introduced the Master Max capes here. On the 30th of September, and just showed us what they were going to be and what it was all about. And then it finally came out on October 3rd, just this Monday. And look at that, I am here at Falador Park. So they updated Falador Park a little bit here to, make it look a little bit better graphically, and added in this big grave here, which is, what's her name? You've got Minerva here, and then I think that's her sister's grave or something. I don't even know. But basically, you can see this cape she's wearing. You can now get that, and it's customizable in the colors, just like all the other, max and comp capes. You can get that if you're 120 in all skills. People have wanted this for quite a while, and I think it's fine. People have been complaining about the design a little bit. It's honestly whatever for me. You strangely enough have to go get like a Blu-rite something, like a Blu-rite ore, and craft a keystone to insert into this, and then get the cape. It's kind of a strange thing. I don't remember exactly. I think you need like a Blu-rite and like an emerald, ruby, and sapphire. to try and make the skill icon on the blue right keystone. So it's a strange little addition to it. But yeah, you can see kind of looks like Skittles Taste the Rainbow, but it's trying to represent the red, green, and blue bars for the skill icon there. So yeah, that's that. But yeah, one thing that kind of just this makes me think of, and that I'm surprised they haven't done yet, to be honest with you, is increase the XP cap. I'm pretty surprised the XP cap is still at 200 million XP, and I don't really necessarily think it should be raised or not. I don't really care either way, to be honest. They could, they couldn't, whatever. But I'm just surprised they haven't, just to try and take advantage of people who would compete on the high scores and spend a bunch of money on keys. That just seems like something they would obviously have done by now, in my opinion. But I mean, I think it's good that they haven't done it, and I hope they probably don't, because it would be weird. But at the same time, I mean, there will come a point where I feel like it'll be something that has to be done. I'm just surprised that it's never even been brought up by them, I don't think, except when they talked about doing that whole prestige system, but that was years and years and years ago. So yeah, just kind of something that made me think of. But I'm going to have to end this video off here, you guys. My throat is starting to go. I have not spoken this much for this long of a time in quite a while now. But yeah, it was fun making another video, covering all the stuff I missed, and I'm looking forward to getting back into the swing of video making for you guys. Again, I'm probably going to try and get back into grinding on my main hardcore as this new PVM with mains is available, and I'm really looking forward to giving that a shot. And I still have probably 3, 4, maybe 5 episodes of the backup hardcore ready to go once I edit and commentate them. So got videos in the pipeline, and of course I'll be covering any news that comes out or any updates. And yeah, happy to be back. Hope you guys are doing well. Happy fall, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.